South Africans love their SUVs, and it seems that almost every brand competing locally offers an SUV option. But Subaru's approach is a little different. Subaru supporters can typically be divided into two groups. On the one hand, you have the petrol heads who like the WRX and STI performance models. And then you have outdoor enthusiasts who buy into the Forester and the Outback. Now Subaru is trying to attract the lifestyle motoring market with a vehicle called the XV. The arrival of the XV may have raised some eyebrows among Subaru supporters. Hardcore fans could even have considered it a sellout. But the reality is that the XV is Subaru's attempt to broaden the appeal of the brand to embrace the so-called lifestyle sector. The 2.0i version of the XV tested here is a new and more affordable addition to the range. In aesthetic terms, the XV is quite an attractive vehicle. It has a long prowling nose, a pert rear and a quite sleek and aerodynamic profile. But it could be accused of being a little bit on the generic side, and so that grille with the crossbar and the Subaru badge are particularly important. The XV's cosmetic treatment swaps the more pragmatic approach of the Forester for a sleeker and slicker look. But it's still an SUV, that large lower air intake in contrasting black and a rear apron design that suggests some scuff resistance add visual aggression, as do the black detailing of the wheel arches, the lower sills and the rear corner lights. Roof rails and an integrated roof spoiler are further confirmation of the XV's compact SUV intentions. The interior execution follows a similar trend. The combination of a raised seating position and lots of glass surfaces means that overall visibility is very good. But this raked windscreen gives you more of a passenger car feel than that of an SUV. The controls nicely positioned, well placed, and the result is intuitive ergonomics. Even the so-called entry-level model's execution is smart and upmarket, and for many, the cloth seats offered here will be preferable and more comfortable than the dearer S model's leather. While there's lots of space for both front and rear occupants, the boot is perhaps the only real disappointment. The cargo floor has had to be raised to make space for a full-sized spare, which robs the luggage compartment of cargo space. On the upside, folding down the split rear bench seat allows extended cargo carrying capacity. Subaru claims there's 771 litres on offer with the rear seats folded down. Under the bonnet of the XV is a 2-litre fuel-injected engine with horizontally opposed cylinders, producing a fairly decent 110 kilowatts of maximum power and 196 newton-meters of torque. It's a slightly peaky engine, so you need to give it a bit of welly to get the best out of it. Perhaps even more important is the choice of gearboxes, because you can go for a 6-speed manual or this car, which has a Lineartronic CVT transmission. If you ask me, the CVT is not the way to go. Yes, it does offer the convenience of clutchless operation, and there's even a virtual manual mode that allows for shifting between virtual gears using shift paddles. But the dreaded rubber band effect remains all too obvious, creating the impression of a constantly slipping clutch, and the effective gearing feels too tall, robbing the engine of any edge it might have had. The car-like character of the XV extends to the ride and handling. It really does feel quite compliant and quite composed, and there's an element of agility here which comes as a surprise given that this is, after all, an all-terrain vehicle. Also surprising, I suppose, is the fact that for all its lifestyle appeal, it does pretty well off the road as well. And in terms of dynamics, not exactly the quickest vehicle, but certainly brisk enough. That the XV can tackle the rough stuff with greater aplomb than most vehicles in its class is not surprising given its Forester heritage. The 225mm ground clearance is the first indication of this, together with the presence of Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive system. That system splits the power delivery equally between the front and rear wheels under normal driving conditions, but can increase the urge to either front or rear depending on where the traction is needed most. One should always consider that the absence of a low-range transfer case means that the truly hardcore 4x4 stuff remains out of bounds. But that said, the XV eats gravel roads for breakfast. The the XV proves that finding just the right compromise between attractive aesthetics, a comfortable interior, decent on-road dynamics and pretty good off-road talent is not as difficult as some of the vehicle's competitors might intimate. The result is an attractive lifestyle vehicle and one that's priced pretty well too.
A trademark flat-4 engine with ample pep, symmetrical four-wheel drive and a decent ride height equate to a lifestyle SUV with all-terrain versatility linked to space and style. Decent standard spec and an attractive asking price are further highlights, but its convenience apart, that CVT gearbox detracts from the overall package.